Hello, this is Sandy. Welcome back to my tutorial series for my pop-up Christmas mini album that I've designed for Country Craft Creations using Authentique's Nostalgia Christmas paper collection. We're going to start working on page set number 3. So let's go ahead and get started on that. First, you will pattern the inside of your set, and we're going to be working with the one that has the flap that opens at the top. So there was 2 of these. We've already done 1, so this is the second one that has a flap that opens to the top. So make sure that it's at the top, it's open to the left and the right of your base page. And I've already patterned mine, so you've already pre-cut your paper, so this should be really easy. Just go ahead and pattern it with the papers you want. I'm using the plaid on the top and the bottom. And right now I have selected a Santa from the collection where I've cut out an image of a Santa, and I'm matting it down onto black cardstock. This is going to be another little pop-up element that we're creating. So I've matted it to the black cardstock, and I also matted it to patterned paper to save a step. So instead of fussy cutting twice, I'm just going to try to fussy cut out once around the cardstock paper and the patterned paper included. This gives it extra strength. So here I am just cutting them out, and I'm going to leave a slight black border around the image. So let me move it up so that you can see it. It's a little hard. So you first cut out your image, which you did earlier in the first tutorial video, and then we're going to glue him to black cardstock on the back of the cardstock. You glue some patterned paper, and then you let that dry, and then you cut out the Santa, leaving a small, just a tiny black border around the image. So this is going to be our first pop-up for this section here. Once you have your Santa cut out, go ahead and grab one of the box pop-up mechanisms that we made earlier, and here I have mine at the top, and I'm just deciding where I want to put it, and I use paper clips to help me hold it together and see where I want to put it. Now I'm marking a P on the sections that I will be patterning with patterned paper that will be shown once this is glued down. So I haven't actually glued my box together yet, so I am marking the P's, and then I'm going to go ahead and pattern those papers. So it depends on what size box you're using and what image you're going to use on your page as to the size of the pop-up component that you want. So these are just the box type pop-ups. So I'm gluing them together. So you see I have this shape here that will pop up, and I'm taking scraps of paper and I'm going to pattern the sections that will show once everything's stuck in the book. So I'm just measuring here to see the size that I need, and this will vary on yours. It will depend on the size that you cut for your pop-up element and if you're using the same image or not. So I really like this. This is my favorite Santa, I think, from the whole collection. I just love this traditional. He reminds me of a Coca-Cola Santa on their commercials or something, but I really like this one. He's really cute. So I'm going to speed this up. You install these the same way that you have before. It's really easy. You can add as many pop-ups as you want, as long as you make sure that they stay within the page when the pages are closed. So we're working on the inside section of the flaps of page set number 3. My first pop-up element for page set number 3 inside the flaps is installed, and I'm going to put one more just behind the Santa, and then I'll start decorating the rest of the page set. Before I add the second pop-up in, I'm going to go ahead and glue this little image down. I had initially thought that I would use it as a pop-up, but I really like how it looks on this bottom section of the flap page. So I'm adding glue, and I'm just going to glue him down. This is the reindeer with the packages stacked. So I'm adding some glue, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. You can leave the right side by the reindeer's head down to his legs free from glue, so that if you need to tuck something underneath, you can do that. But I just thought he was really cute on this page with all these packages. And then I'm going to probably add a mat or a frame there. Actually, I think I may add both, but I did that while the other pop-up was drying, so now I'm thinking of what I want to put there at the top on that. And I'm just checking to make sure that it lays down pretty flat and pops up. Beside the reindeer, I'm adding one of the stitched rectangle photo frames. And this one I am not leaving open because I'm going to add a photo mat over it. So I've just glued it down all the way on all four sides. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue on the reindeer to attach him down, since I don't need to make sure that a photo can fit under it, because I'm going to mat this other photo mat, stitched photo mat that I matted onto some red cardstock. I'm going to glue that down right there over the frame. So the frame is more for decorative on this page. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue all this down. Now I'm ready to add another pop-up in the top flap inside section behind the Santa. So I've taken another one of our elements, and I have this little reindeer that I cut out, and I'm just checking the width of the pop-up to see if I need to trim it down. So remember that you made several of these, and you just trim them down to fit the image that you're going to be using. So I'm going to check to see where I need to cut it down, and if I want to glue the reindeer to the narrow side or the widest side. So I'm just doing some trimming here. And again, you will pattern the sections of the pop-up element box that will show by marking it with a P and then patterning that, and then you glue that down into your page and you glue the little reindeer onto that. So just make sure that the bottom of the reindeer is lined up flush with the bottom of the pop-up. And so go ahead and put your element in there. And again, like I said, if you want to add more, just make sure that you allow for them to clear each other, and that you make sure that they stay within the section of your book, the pages of your book, once it's closed. I forgot to tell you that on the backs of these particular pop-ups on the images, you do need to add pattern paper. They are matted to black cardstock to give them extra strength, but then you also need to add pattern paper to the backs of them so that it looks good when you're looking at the other side of the page. So I didn't tell you that, but I did mat mine both with cardstock and pattern paper like we did before. On the inside of the top flap, behind the Santa and the little reindeer, I'm adding a photo mat, a small one. It's one of the black stitched rectangles, and I matted it to red to match the one on the bottom section. So I'm just going to attach this in the upper right corner behind the pop-ups. I then added two different sizes of punched circles, punched with some holly, and also added a button twine bow to the reindeer. So now we're ready to work on the front side of page section 3. For the front, I matted two of the cut-aparts onto black cardstock, and I'm just going to apply glue to two sides and a bottom to create pockets out of these. So I'm laying down the Santa one first, and then I will put the reindeer on the top of that. And then I will add a double layered strip of some of the pattern paper scraps as a belly band across the bottom with a poinsettia flower punched out of a circle, and then I will create 2 tags, one to go in each of the pockets. We have the front of page set 3 decorated and the inside. So now we're ready to work on the back side and the other inside flaps. So let's add pattern paper to this one. And I'm going to go with the red. And if you haven't inked it, go ahead and ink yours and then go ahead and glue it down. You will also glue on one of the pockets at the bottom, just like you have done before, and then you will use scraps of your paper to pattern the front of the pocket using whatever pattern prints you would like to use. Next, create a booklet just like you have before. Add photo mats that you've matted, cut aparts that have been matted, and whatever you want to add into that. So here I'm just adding the paper to my little booklet that I made out of the 5" by 12" piece of cardstock and scored at 3, 6, and 9 inches. And I'm adding scraps of paper to decorate it, and then I will add a button twine string for a tie. I have these cute Christmas paper clips, reindeer Christmas tree, that I've had for several years. I had some extras left over from a class, so I'm going to use some of these in the pockets to hold some of the elements inside the pocket. You could use any kind of paper clips, gold paper clips or silver. You can even find the colored ones in the Christmas colors that you could use. Next, go ahead and pattern and decorate your photo mat that goes in the sleeve pocket. So I'm adding some pattern paper here, and then you'll also want to add another tab the same way that you did in the previous one for page set number, I believe that was 2. No, actually that was page set number 1. So I showed you how to do this on page set number 1. You'll notice here that I forgot to put my tab on. So I'm going to have to lift up my paper a little bit and stick my tab in underneath that because I want it underneath the paper. So I did forget to do that. But right now I'm creating a pocket, which is the width of the photo mat. And I punched a notch in it at the top, so mine's probably about 2.5, 3 inches tall, and I'm going to glue that to the bottom. And if you rounded your photo mat corners, be sure to round the corners of your pocket. So I'm just adding a line of glue on the 2 sides and across the bottom, and I'm going to glue that down. Oops, make sure you do it the right direction. Pay attention to the direction of your papers. I then added a photo mat that's matted, that's black with a craft color photo mat on the top, and then I made a little tag out of made 3 tags out of 3 different gift tags that are on the paper collection, tied those with button string, and then inserted those into the pocket. So here I am gently lifting the paper enough where I can slide my tab in and glue it down, and then I will pattern it. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up now. So decorate your little sleeve however you wish. If you want to add a pocket, there's plenty of room to do that inside, and add a photo mat, and then you can also put photo on the back side of the photo mat that goes in the sleeve, or you can do journaling with a white pen. Inside the main flap of page set number 3, I'm going to pattern it with the dotted paper. On the left side, I'm going to make a little envelope with my envelope punch board. This should be about a 3 by 3 or 3.5 by 3.5 inch envelope, and I'll add a button twine bow, and then I will use a matted cut apart image to tuck the tab of the envelope in to keep it closed, and inside I'm going to fold up the Christmas wishes cut apart and tuck that inside so that you can write down your Christmas wishes. And underneath that I will mat a photo frame, and then on the right side I'm going to put another photo frame and create another pop-up with the Santa's face, the same way that we did their other pop-ups. So you have pop-ups mechanism that you've already made, so you will do these the same way. And then I matted another Merry Christmas tag that I will attach to the bottom. So I'm going to speed this up. This is all pretty much a repeat as far as assembly of or patterning of the page. You just add the decorations, and so I'm going to speed it up. You can still see what I'm doing and see where I put everything. Page set number 3 is patterned and decorated, and that concludes tutorial video number 5. So we'll be ready for number 6 next, where we will start working on the final page set number 4.